Good evening once more. And as promised, I'm going to do a very quick recap of the films that I have chosen to be nominated for the Oscars versus what I think actually will get nominated. Alright, so anyway, first off, we have... let's just start at the bottom and move up. And of course, you know that'll be as stated before. I don't have much particular familiarity with or interest in shorts. I have nominated the short Partly Cloudy for our best animated short, and I'm willing to state that it's pretty much guaranteed a nomination. I couldn't even start to tell you what the other nominees will be. Now, as far as the feature films, my nominees personally for best visual effects currently stands as Watchmen, Where the Wild Things Are, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, The Lovely Bones, with the number one choice being Avatar. When it comes down to tomorrow, the awards nominations, I'm willing to state that Avatar, Wild Things, and Half-Blood Prince are very, very likely to get nominations if they do a full 5. They're more likely to do 3 because they are really uneven about 5. I've stated before I don't agree with this whole 3 thing, I do know for whatever reason The Lovely Bones is not on the short list. Watchmen could get a nomination. I think it's much more likely to go either to Terminator Salvation, District 9, maybe even Star Trek. There may be some other films, but I would say if it's 3 nominees, it's going to be Avatar, Where the Wild Things Are, and Terminator Salvation. If it's 5, Half-Blood Prince, District 9, or Star Trek will be one of them. And I really hate to say it, but I have this bad feeling Transformers Revenge of the Fallen will end up being the other one. Hopefully it won't be on the short list if there's only 3. You have no idea how much that would tick me off. Anyway, or maybe you do. Maybe you actually saw the movie. I can't really honestly say that I've seen all of it. I've seen parts. Sound effects editing. My picks: Fantastic Mr. Fox, The Hurt Locker, Where the Wild Things Are, Inglourious Basterds, and Avatar. And Avatar being the number 1 pick. I think that Avatar is practically guaranteed to get a nomination here as well. Where the Wild Things Are is very likely to. The Fantastic Mr. Fox might. Inglourious Basterds might. Paranormal Activity was my next pick. That's unlikely to get a nod, but it would be cool if it did. I think District 9 is a good possibility. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince is a possibility. Here again, I hate to say it, but from everything I've heard, Transformers is a possibility. So, if they go with 3, they're probably going to do Avatar, Where the Wild Things Are, and District 9, or Transformers. Maybe Terminator. Maybe they'll do some other totally random movie. Best sound mixing. My picks are Serious Man, The Hurt Locker, Where the Wild Things Are, Avatar. My number 1 pick is Inglourious Basterds. Personally, I think Avatar here again is guaranteed a nomination, whether it's 3 or 5. Inglourious Basterds actually stands a good chance here. So does A Serious Man. The Fantastic Mr. Fox stands a very good chance. Where the Wild Things Are, Hurt Locker, all stand a very good chance here, if I'm not mistaken. District 9 is likely to get nominated. I would say if it's 3, probably Avatar, Inglourious Basterds, and District 9. If it's 5, I'll throw in Where the Wild Things Are and The Fantastic Mr. Fox. Once again, Transformers could be an unfortunate spoiler for that one. We can hope not. Maybe Terminator. Hell, Wolverine actually could score a nod in any one of those, really. Best film editing. I pick Up, A Serious Man, Inglourious Basterds, Coraline, and my number 1 is The Fantastic Mr. Fox. I, for one, would find it really friggin' cool to see 3 animated features in this category. I do think Mr. Fox should get a nomination. Probably will if there are 5. But if there are only 3, it's hard to say. A Serious Man could well get it. The Academy does recognize the Coen brothers as excellent editors. And personally, I would be very amused to see Roderick Jaynes once again nominated, considering that he doesn't exist. I'd find that very amusing. And it really comes down to, in my book, it should be the 3 auteurs, Tarantino, the Coens, and Wes Anderson, along with the little upstart animation company called Pixar, and Henry Selick. I'd like to see their films going head-to-head for film editing. I do think The Informant has a very good shot here. Up in the Air has a very good shot. Avatar will probably get a nod, though, and so will The Hurt Locker. I'm willing to go out on a limb and say it'll be Avatar and The Hurt Locker against Inglourious Basterds. If there are an additional 2, it'll probably be A Serious Man and one of the 3 animated films I picked. But you never know. We could be surprised. Next we have Costume Design. Where the Wild Things Are is almost guaranteed a nomination. There's some confusion over how much of the animals was costume and how much was visual effects. But first and foremost, they were wearing costumes, and those were some pretty impressive costumes. So, that seems to me a very likely nomination. I am willing to claim Public Enemies is almost guaranteed for a nomination. If one thing Michael Mann's films really are good with, it's detail. And the period detail in that film, also in Education and The Informant, all are my picks because of the attention to period detail. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince rounds out my 5. Actually, Where the Wild Things Are is the number 1 pick for me. At a guess, I would say, well, not at a guess, I don't want to say that, but if I were to try and predict tomorrow, Half-Blood Prince has a good shot, but not a great shot. The Informant is also probably a bit of a wild card. But I'd say Where the Wild Things Are, Public Enemies, and In Education will probably vie against a couple of the period dramas, probably The Young Victoria from everything I've heard, and maybe something like The Last Station or Me and Orson Welles or something like that, some really random artsy one. Although there is a chance they may decide to do the perfect attention to movie costumes shown in Inglourious Basterds. May decide to reward some of the others. Avatar could get a claim here just because it's Avatar. Who knows? Avatar is going to clean up tomorrow. I can guarantee that. More than it should. Films of that sort usually do. Well, they usually either get ignored or they clean up more than they should. But anyway, this is going to have to be a 2-parter. I'll be right back.